Let's talk about something that has always bothered me, and it's time we actually say it out loud. Why is Meghan the only woman in public life whose spending is audited like a crime scene? Every single article, every single appearance, every single outfit. Meghan wore an X thousand pound dollar coat. Meghan stepped out in blah 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 heels. Meghan's outfit costs blah blah blah. She wore earrings that cost blah blah blah. Why? Why? I think it's very obsessive, and I think it's definitely not accidental, because this is not fashion coverage, it's pocket watching, and it's being used as a character assassination tool. So let's start with the facts. Number one, Meghan bought her own outfits and clothes long before she ever met Harry. She was a working actress. She ran the TIG, a lifestyle platform that was actually built around fashion, wellness, travel, and food. She literally showed us her wardrobe, her skincare, her taste. And she's always been stylish, and she's always invested in really good quality clothing. And she's always paid for her own things. That isn't new behavior. What's new is the way certain elements of the press are choosing to talk about it and how they're choosing to frame it. Because the thing that they don't say out loud is that Meghan is the only woman in the royal ecosystem who was not dressing on taxpayers' dime. Yes, even when she was working for the taxpayer. And meanwhile, the other girl is paid for by the duchy. Before they got their hands on the duchy, her father-in-law was paying for everything that she ever put on her body. Her security, staff, wardrobe allowance, all publicly funded or privately funded through inherited wealth. And Meghan's an American, financially independent. She is used to earning her own money, and she's used to buying her own clothes. And yet, somehow, they choose to accuse her of being expensive or flashy or out of touch. Well, it does not make sense to me. And this is where the manipulation comes from, because when the press, when they list the cost of Meghan's outfits, they're not doing fashion journalism. They are actually policing. And what they're doing is what I call emotional engineering, because they want you to think she's greedy, she's vain, she's not like us, she doesn't deserve sympathy. And it's deliberate, because once you paint someone as too rich, too polished, too glamorous, people stop empathizing with them. And once the empathy is gone, cruelty becomes acceptable. And that is what the press are trying to do. And this is a tactic that has always been used on black women in particular. Yes, I say that. It's almost as if black women are not allowed a certain level of luxury. You're not allowed to be rich. You're not allowed to be seen as something sophisticated and polished and beautiful. They also use this trope on ambitious women, on women who don't know their place, on women who don't perform humility in a way that people find comfortable. They're either too flashy, trying too hard, or not grateful enough. There is no winning when it comes to how the press paint women, in particular black women who are rich. And what makes this even more absurd is that Meghan's clothes were not even extravagant by royal standards. She wore very neutral tailoring, clean lines, and she has her rewearable staples that she's had for years. In fact, recently, in a photograph to promote her brand, she actually re-wore an outfit that she wore to a charity event. She first wore that charity event in 2018, and she's re-wearing it now. Her coats, her bags, her shoes, and that's because she buys things that last. And yet you have other royals who are flying constantly in newly purchased helicopters. They live in palaces. They renovate their homes with public funds. They have about 6 homes and counting. and they wear couture items without it being scrutinized. And somehow that is fine with the press. That is fine with certain members of the public, because in my opinion, the issue was never really about the money. The issue was about who they thought is spending it. And here's the quiet part that no one likes to say out loud. They need Meghan to look high maintenance because they want her to seem unworthy of protection. If she's framed as being indulgent and spoilt, then their abuse looks justified. Then the intrusion becomes deserved. And then the harassment becomes public interest. It's psychological framing, and it's worked on a lot of people. And also, I want to talk a bit more about the racial subtext, because yes, it's there, whether people admit it or not. Because when a black or biracial woman spends money, it's framed as excess, vanity, greed, ghetto, trying too hard. But when a white woman of a certain class does the same, it's elegant or classic or timeless, or it's a tribute, or it's paying homage. Yeah, that's how it's framed. It's the same behavior but different judgment, and that is not a coincidence. And here's the wildest part of all. Meghan never asked anyone to pay for her lifestyle. She doesn't take public funds. She didn't demand a wardrobe budget, and she didn't live off the taxpayer, even when she was working in that family, because they put out false news. They let the press run with false news that she had £1 million wardrobe, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of the stuff she wore, she either paid for it herself or there were things she already had. And thank God for the Sussex squad, and also the eagle-eyed Tiglets, who actually will put side-by-side photos to say, these pair of shoes she owned before blah, these pair of shoes that she's wearing. They made those comparisons and they brought the receipts. So thank God her life was public before she entered that family. And yet, even when she left the institution so she could earn money independently, she is still being punished for it. Because how dare a woman leave the system, fund herself, control her own image, and refuse to be grateful for mistreatment? And the obsession with her clothes is definitely not about the clothes. It's about control. It's about trying to reduce a complex, articulate, boundary-setting woman into something shallow and mockable. It's about punishing her for not playing the role that they wrote for her. And it's about making sure that the public never forgets to see her as too much. Meanwhile, the other girl's wardrobe is subsidized. Her clothes are rarely costed in headlines, and her fashion isn't weaponized. In fact, her fashion that she copies from Meghan is even praised. Her spending is never moralized because the goal is not transparency. The goal is narrative control. So next time you see the headline say, oh, Meghan steps out in X amount of dollar outfit, you need to ask yourself, why is it being mentioned? Who benefits from the framing? Why am I nudged to feel this way? Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you stop falling for it, the whole campaign starts to collapse. And that is what they're scared about. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, please. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur. And for more insights like these, please like, share, comment, and follow me. And also, to support my work, please pick up a copy of my book, The Luxpreneur, from Amazon. And thank you so much to those of you who bought a copy. I am truly, truly, truly appreciative of you. And for those who couldn't get a copy, and you've written me or DM'd me, it's fine. Honestly, your presence, your comments, your support, I value that more than anything else. And thank you so much for helping me grow. I truly appreciate it.